Crime during changing times, I find it very interesting, very fascinating. Crime have existed ever since human beings inhabited the earth. We were food gatherers. We became food producers. From caveman to development of a culture, it was a transition extended into thousands of years. And as a result, crime also changed with the evolving time. I believe it is a very, very interesting subject, not only for a police officer, but also to each and every human being, because it not only concerns their safety and security, but it also helps us to evolve a vision for future. I remember as a student, when from Delhi University, I moved to Mussoorie to join Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. It was a big transition for me, beginning of a long journey. The year was 1990 and the world was changing and changing fast. If you remember, 1990 marked the unification of Germany and the demolition of the Berlin Wall. The communist regimes of Eastern Europe were declining, and so was the mighty Soviet Union. The Cold War was coming to an end. A new world order was emerging. This is the time when internet was making its early arrival, with the worldwide www coming into existence. This is the time when I touched the computer for the first time at the academy, because it was part of our curriculum. When I joined the police service in the year 1990, I was sent to a place called Jangaon in Warangal district in central India. That was the time when Naxalite movement was very strong in those areas. And as we were passing out from academy, we were comparing which police is a modern police in India. Many times officers were sharing notes, police officers having AK-47, SLR, Glock pistol. They were considered to be modern police officers. And now when I see 10 days back, when the new batch of police officers have passed out from the academy, the government of Telangana was giving them digital pad. And these digital pad equipped with the software, with the apps, with the data connected to each and every government network, road transport authority, arms license, all the crimes committed by each and every criminal, not only in India but any part of the world, if they are part of the international gang. It's all summed up in one tab which each and every officer is having. The strength of the networking of technology which our police officers are having now has been unprecedented. The power of a police department, the strength of the police officer doesn't depend on how powerful weapon he is carrying, but how well equipped he is with skill and technology. This is how has come out because the nature of crime has evolved. The pattern of crime changed over a period of time, and it determines how the method of detection of crime changes. When we go back into history and we see how the early crimes took place, it was basically physical force, intimidation, threat, violence, one-to-one. That was the early crime. Subsequently, it became group activity. That is how the group conspiracy angle came into being. The early crimes were not involving something beyond the physical proximity. Whereas now, a person sitting in Eastern Europe can make and plan a conspiracy and hack your computer, hack your password, and draw millions of rupees from your account. This is something which has changed a lot. Gradually, when we move to the next point, we see that how in the ancient time, crime of one group was taking shape was evolving with conspiracy angle. That was the time when the government changing, the ruling elite, whenever it was changing, the process was violent. But now, because of democracy, the change of government has been non-violent. Brute force has no relevance, no acceptance in the modern society. A new dimension of crime has been added in the recent time when we talk of the word terrorism. And it is like kill one and terrorize 1,000, as one of the founding fathers of such movement had mentioned. We also see now issues like crime against humanity. Who can forget thousands and millions of people being killed by the Nazi Germany just because they belong to one particular community? These are the things which has evolved over a period of time. In medieval time, in Europe, there were many new things emerging. And one interesting fact which we read some times back was what is called the assassins. The word assassination has come from that. When we go back into the root, it comes from a Persian word called hashish. As you know, it is one of the narcotics. And some of these criminals were taking hashish and doing the offense. And hashashins, that is how the word assassins come. Selective killing of a person, either for political purpose or personal gain, has been there right from beginning. Julius Caesar was assassinated. In modern times, Mahatma Gandhi, our father of nation, was assassinated. In the neighboring country, President Ziaul Haq was assassinated. In USA, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. We also see back home in India, in central India, for almost 300 years, from 1300 to 1500, 1600, and later on, even during the British period, the thugs, they were the organized gangs in India, looting, killing pilgrims and traders, passing from one place to another. And as you know, Hyderabad, which is in the central India and always connected north to south and south to north, it was what is called the great Kashi Rameshwaram road, on which Hyderabad was located from the ancient times. The thugs from the year 1300 onwards till the British period, and Colonel Sleeman eliminated this menace, had killed almost 20,000 people per year, which was one of the most menacing criminal gang the world has ever seen. William Sleeman, who joined India as a police officer, and subsequently he traveled the length and breadth of the country. Wherever he was going, he was told about this mysterious group which are attacking people when they are traveling from one place to another. These thugs, somehow, they were also worshipping goddess Kali. Their rituals, their practices, their code words, gradually Sleeman detected and deciphered them. And as a result, he really worked so well that in a process of 30 to 40 years, the entire Thuggy system was eliminated in India. This is surprisingly also one of the early words which the British dictionary borrowed from India. They also borrowed the practice as they looted the country. They plundered our country, made India from one of the richest country in the world to one of the poorest country in the world by the time the Britishers left. Colonel Sleeman has a police station named after him in Madhya Pradesh. What a tribute to such a legendary person. I remember reading at one of the place somewhere in MP when Sleeman found more than 500 people were buried in one single graveyard. From that time, when we move forward, and as and when the technology came, technology was used by not only criminals but also by new groups who were defining the new nuances of crime. As the British grip over India started becoming stronger and stronger, by mid of the 19th century, they were passing many laws, many acts, not primarily to reform India, but to save India for future exploitation by the British government. That was their main reason why the new acts came. And subsequently, after 1857 revolt, the definition of crime against the state, that also got a revolutionary change, what is called sedition, attacking the Queen, attacking the government. All those laws were brought in. Subsequently, in the early part of the next century, when we see public order, the definition of public order that came into the analysis of crime. What is public order? Something which affects the general pace of life adversely. When the normal business of the community, of the society, is not happening in a smooth way because of some reason or the other. It can be a large demonstration, it can be a large protest, it can be a rasta roko, it can be setting of buses on fire, government property is damaging. All these things create an atmosphere which affects the mind of a common public, and that is how they are defined in the category of public order. Subsequently, there was another category added, that was security of the state. So from individual becoming victim of crime to public order and then to crime against the state, like organized crime of the underworld, Mumbai, or for that matter any big city. When we talk of crime, we also mention that how in the late 70s and 80s, the mafias in the US cities, they were working and intimidating people. What can be a better reflection of such mafias than what has been reflected in the movie Godfather? When 5 families fought among each other, killed each other to control the negative, the illegal trade of various things in the big cities of US like New York. The ironic scene is that in one of the scene in Godfather, a Don was assassinated on the steps of Supreme Court of New York at Manhattan. Back home in India, when we see the underworld, how Rakesh Roshan, the film producer, director and actor, was shot at by the sharp shooters of the underworld. These are the things how crime has taken its new face, new dimensions. The police as a setup have always been one step ahead, and that is why largely the society is peaceful. The use of modern technology, use of Internet of Things, it has helped the system in a big way. However, if people are not careful, then Internet of Things is nothing but Internet of Things to be hacked. Whatever is connected to Internet, if proper protocol is not followed, then when it is exposed to either hacking or pilferage. Gone are the days when one person used to commit a crime and one person was victim. Now one person can plan and hack the identity of millions of people. One person sitting somewhere can compromise a server and cheat thousands of people of their identity. Identity theft is a very big issue now. Everywhere you are putting your Aadhaar card, you are putting your PAN card, you are putting your driving license detail. If the protocols are not followed, then all these things are likely to be misused. Similarly, with changing time, the social customs, the social traditions, they also sometimes bring many reforms, whether it is abolition of slavery in the US by Abraham Lincoln, or whether it is abolition of the sati, the untouchability in India. These are the things which in certain parts existed and were never liked by the majority of the people. Government had to pass legislation to stop these things. In the modern times, in the contemporary times, the new work culture at offices, they also bring so many new nuances to the definition of crime and crime prevention. With more and more education opportunities coming to girls, we see that now almost every office, the percentage of women working is much larger than what it was before. And as a result, initially the Vishakha judgment came, in which the Supreme Court defined what is called the guidelines about how to protect honor, dignity, and safety of women at workplaces. Subsequently, the Parliament passed an act, and what is called the Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace came into being. These are the recent changes which have been necessitated because of the changing atmosphere of workplace, society, more awareness, more value to human dignity. All these things have come up. When we see the changing nature of police department, I always get reminded of a famous book written by a famous British police officer who had mentioned that the ultimate goal, the ultimate dream of the society should be that every citizen feels that he is a cop, and every cop should feel that he is a citizen. Otherwise, you cannot guard each and every house. You cannot guard each and every laptop which you are operating. You cannot guard each and every cell phone which you are operating. You have to follow your own safety mechanism. And that is how this Robert Peel's quote that every citizen is a policeman and every policeman is a citizen is so valid. This is the time when the dimension of crime and crime prevention has changed so much that unless and until there is awareness spread to every nook and corner of society, there would be innocent people always they will get cheated by some smart person or a criminal. Thank you so much.